Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kendar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapter 48 of The World Which Is. It would have been good to... Alrighty. We're not even a train of steps in when the first attack comes, and it's more disgusting than anything else. Dungeon Worm. Level 1. Dungeon worms are the weakest of the creatures that inhabit wild dungeons. They can range from not larger than their out of dungeon counterpart to being many times bigger. Perception check failed. They come out of the wall and grounds and are the size of my forearm. They look more like maggots than worms, other than being slimy. There aren't a lot of them, and cutting them in half ends them. Woof! There aren't a lot, and cutting them in half ends them. Explorer quest completion. Step 3. Creature fights. You have fought 6 different creatures. Reward 6,929 experience. You have gained a level. You are now level 6. Experience required to reach your next level, 14,027. Why didn't you help? I asked Brian as he hands me a thermos. I'm not thirsty, and I gained a level. Congratulations, he replies flatly. This is for your sword. The slime is mildly acidic, so you don't want to let it eat away at the metal. And leave injuries unattended if they somehow hurt you. As for why I didn't help, you need to gain more than I do, as demonstrated by your level. And he doesn't want to get slime over himself, Ellen adds. I'm pretty sure it was the fighting quest line more than these level 1 worm that... Oh boy. I'm pretty sure it's... I do have a habit of doing that. I will make dialogue way clunkier than it needs to be. I'm pretty sure... and this is where going over it helps. I'm pretty sure it's the quest line more than these level that... made it happen. That made it happen. Still moves you toward the next level faster than if I'd killed most of them. And if Dennis needs rescuing, there's only one L here. I'll be happy to dirty myself, but like I said, he needs the experience more than I do. You want to take time to assign points. I shake my head, putting the ability points I gain into at it all day, since that's the next one on my list. I want to have a buffer of skill and attribute points. It already saved my life once. That's smart for skills, but you sure you don't want to put your points in strength? We don't get class bonuses in that attribute. And that'll make that much of a difference. And if it does, I can put them in when I need them. Only if you're still conscious, but it's your decision. He turns to Silver, who is still playing her violin. Since they're a lot weaker than I thought they would be, you can join in the fight with Dennis. You're going to get more experience that way than filling whatever quest you're working on now. I don't need the now. You're working on. I'm not really fighting oriented, she replies. And I don't have anything to use as a weapon. Brandon offers her a slender sword. If you have a skill point, put it in that. I don't know why she looks at me, but I shrug. I figure she's better off learning to use a sword, but I am combat oriented. Let me put it this way, Silver, Brennan says. If we get separated while traveling, do you really want to depend on your violin to keep creeps and monsters from attacking you? What about the buff I'm providing? The icon is green and has the silhouette of a man with his chest puffed out. System query. Courage. Buff. Level 1. You are feeling more courageous. Strength, agility, and endurance receive an extra point for the duration of the buff. That isn't making me feel all that. That isn't making me feel all that much braver. I think Dennis can work without it until he goes up against stronger creatures. Look, he continues as she still looks uncertain. It's okay if you're scared. I get it. I'm just saying that I'm not scared. Well, a little. It's just that I didn't think I'd have to do any fighting. You don't have to, Brandon says. If you're comfortable with it, you can just keep on depending on me and Dennis to keep you safe while we're here. His eyes flex to something I don't see, and he glares at Ellen, who is glaring right back at him. So they can message each other, and they're going to make their sibling problem there. They're going to take their sibling problems there. Mom made sure you knew you knew how to handle a staff before she let you touch spellcraft, Brandon states. That you've grown beyond using it has nothing to do with this situation, unless you think Silver learned enough to defend herself with it. I haven't even gained a level in the spark spell yet, Silver says. My point exactly, Brendan snapped, then curses under his breath. Sorry, he tells the startled Silver. The tone was directed at my sister, but my point remains. We're in a dungeon. This is the best place to start learning since you haven't taken courses. You put a point in sword fighting, and before we leave, you'll have at least trained in the skill, if not twice that. He's exaggerating, I'm certain of it, but I do agree with the sentiment. Silver puts her violin in its case, then they disappear. Then it disappears in her inventory. She takes the sword, and Brandon spends a few minutes making sure she holds it correctly. Then he motions for us to take the lead. It's going to be okay, I tell her. Brandon and Ellen are right behind us, and if anything goes wrong, they'll help. Her nod lacks confidence, but she looks ahead, and we're walking again, with me cranking the light so it will continue shining. Dungeon Fly, level 4. A fly that has been changed by living within a dungeon. Perception check failed. Change isn't strong enough of a word for what fly is. You have gained a level. You are now level 7. Experience required to reach your next level, 16,393. I guess something good came of me getting stabbed by that thing. It didn't do a lot of damage, but I can't feel my hand right now. I'm lucky I batted it with my shield arm. Without a sword, Brennan would have to jump in. Would have had to jump in to help. I'm sorry, Silver's telling me. It's okay. I reassure her. I was just as surprised. But you didn't run away. The 6 things, barely larger than my hand, flew at us from the darkness ahead, and I'd reacted before the disgust set in. Then I was cutting one and another until I went to bat one away with my shield, and it was nimbler than I expected. A cut was enough to ground them and render them armless, but I made sure to kill them, both because I don't get experience just for maiming a creature and because they are even more disgusting than the worms. I've been training since I was 9. I didn't go up against monsters then, but we learned that our job is to stop them so others have a chance to escape, and that means we learn not to let disgust drive us. You don't have that, so your reaction's normal. How's your skill? Still at 1. It's what Brandon was trying to avoid by not letting her know he'd be there to protect her. I also haven't gained any level in my skill because I haven't felt in danger at any point. Do we have anything to take care of my hand? I ask. The numb debuff is already yellow, so it's going to be gone soon, but I don't want to sit and wait for it to pass. I don't know how safe it is to continue. I can't crank the light one-handed, and I don't know how long it will keep working without that. I can have you regain the points you lost, Silver says, but I don't have a song to remove a debuff like that. It falls under the categories of cures, Ellen says, rather than healing, and I don't do either. I put the ability point in Bob and Weave. Now I have 5 attribute points. I can afford to put 1 or 2 of them in endurance, right? more of that will help against these kind of debuff. I might also be time to put something in dexterity. I would have reacted faster. Health would also make sense because monsters are only going to get more dangerous going forward and tougher. So Brendan might be right that I should invest in strength. It might be best to wait still. System to Dennis. Brenda says, are you still in there? Yes. Sorry, I went up another level. I was trying to decide where I should put a few attribute points. And what did you decide? I didn't. He nods. How many points do you have? 5. I know you want me to put them in strength, but what if I'm not? That's not where I end up needing them. Don't put them in strength. I shouldn't have told you that earlier. Hitting hard is my thing. You go for precision. So if you're going to put them somewhere, dexterity is where you should start. But what if I need more health or toughness? So that's the problem. He takes hold of my shoulders and looks me in the eyes. First off, endurance, intelligence, and health get raised through our class. So you don't have to worry about them. What's going on here is that you're afraid of making the wrong decision. I open my mouth to protest, but his smirk stops me. I guess he isn't wrong. How do I make sure that doesn't happen? You can't. But, he shakes his head, whatever you decide, it's going to be the wrong decision in at least one situation, and, realistically, a lot more of them. It's the nature of stepping into the wild. Out here, the system doesn't care about what you want or what you think should be happening. There'll be days when you think when you think the system looked at your sheet specifically and tailored every encounter to poke at what you're worst at. So there's no way to get it right? All the time? No. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter where you put the points. There will be times when that's exactly what saves your ass. Even points in charisma can come in handy. Like, you know anything about that? Ellen comments, and Brandon simply smirks. So, here's my advice. Once we're done here, think about a few areas where you want to excel at. Since you said you want to be a guard, it's probably going to be combat related for you too. Then pick the 3 attributes that improve that, and those are where you put most of your points, okay? And remember, you'll be getting points for your entire life, Ellen adds. So if things change at some point, it's not a all is lost situation. And that's where keeping some point in reserve comes in handy. He smiles. So we good to go? I nod and notice the debuff's gone. He pats my shoulder. Then you and Silver take the lead again. I'll do better, Silver says. I have no doubt, Brendan replies. We walk for a few minutes, then a sound behind us has us turning in time to see the tunnel close up, trapping us inside the dungeon. And that concludes chapter 48 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.